And we are live. Hey, good Thursday evening, everybody. How is it going? I gotta tell you, I am dragging tail today. What is going on? That is not starting. Hey, little homestead by the beach, Marlene, and Camp Patton Family Compound. How's it going? Okay, that's fine. Homestead by the beach, Marlene. Oh, come on, give me my Camp Patton Family Compound. There we go. Boy, I don't like that. It takes too long. Yeah, I'm there. It takes me a minute. It's weird. It's like it bounces off a satellite or something. Oh, wow. No, I am dragging tail today. I stayed up till 3 in the morning last night watching Jupiter's Legacy or something like that. It's about superheroes. It was weird. But yeah, I'm not young anymore at all. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have things going off all over the place. There, that's muted. So yeah, um we got a little bit of stuff to talk about tonight. First, welcome to the channel, man. We hit 360 subscribers this week, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It's just amazing to see this stuff happen. To think that many people would be interested in my life and what I've got to put out there, it's just very humbling. So I hope to keep putting out good content, and yeah, we will keep on trying. In other news around the globe, I started a blog on my website, tham141homestead.com. And I'm just writing a little bit on it every day just to keep people posted. It's kind of tough to find stuff to talk about sometimes, but it's like today, it's too cold for the sap to run. So that meant it was too cold for me to be outside. Not really. It was in the 20s, but boy, I just took the day and cleaned the house and did the dishes and caught up on some stuff. My friend Matt asked me, he says, "So you still keeping up on keeping the house straight?" Because I had started that after Wendy passed. And I said, ish. But yeah, I got a video coming out tomorrow on my channel that is on collecting. I made a rig. I got a trailer and a 55-gallon drum, and I made a rig for easy sap collection. Not that I think I've got 16 trees tapped somewhere in there. And I've got in 2 collections, I've gotten 10 gallons. And they're kind of free. Hey, there's Gil. Let me let you in here.
Hey.
How's it going?
All righty. Come up and give you some extra support.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'm sharing this out on Facebook right now.
Oh, thank you. That's what I didn't do tonight, is put it on Facebook. I just got done typing the blog out, a couple paragraphs, and I shared that on Facebook, but I didn't share that I was going live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I checked the sap buckets today, and I've got one of them had a little bit of ice in it. But it was too cold. It was in the 20s. I think the highest I got was like 26, 27, somewhere in there. And hopefully it'll warm up here within the next few days. And I got 20 gallons of sap. So that is what 2 quarts. No, did I say 20 gallons? I meant 10 gallons.
10 gallons.
Yeah. Yeah, 10. So that's actually a quart of syrup if I boiled it down. But I'm gonna wait for a while and see if I can get up to the whole 40. Friend of mine, Bill Agonier, he does it professionally, and he's got a old boiler tray that he's gonna let me use. And then tomorrow, I go pick up the a 55-gallon barrel that I'm gonna lay down and make a burner from.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna try it. I mean, I priced out the evaporators with the wood fired evaporators, and they're $1,200-$1,300 a piece. So maybe if I do good this year, maybe I'll invest in that. But right now I've got maybe $100 invested in sap so far. So and then the barrel will be, I think it's 15 or 20, something like that. But so what have you been up to? You staying out of trouble?
Yeah, trying to. Yeah, I've been trying to get a indoor year-round garden setup going in here, and I've been setting things up and looking at a couple days and moving things around. I think I'm getting a basic one, got it in its final thing. I'm gonna be doing a video on it tomorrow. But I got 3 tomato plants that have sprouted already, and so I'm going to be planting those in, trying to raise some nice Roma tomatoes indoors year round. So that's my big experiment for this year, and we'll see if that works. If that works out, it's a great prepping and homesteading thing to do. You have fresh tomatoes in the wintertime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm gonna get Annie from Back to Basics Homestead. She's got a link for a soil blocker, and I'm gonna get one of those. That way I won't have to, because I keep buying the little trays.
Mm-hmm. The peat pots.
Yeah.
And those little peat things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get a soil blocker and try that.
Yeah. Well, what I found out, and a couple of other channels have found out, is that there's a different way to. I mean, the soil blockers are good, but unless you're ready to immediately plant it once it starts sprouting into the ground, if it's too cold to do that, you need something different. And what I've got, let me see if I can pull something up here, and then I can share it to you off of Amazon. 3-inch. I think they were 3-inch little pot things. Maybe there was, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me go ahead and hit the share button here, and then once you see it down below, you can bring it up there. These little things are expensive, and there's different ones. This is just the first one that just popped up. I actually went through and priced a bunch of them out before I found the one that's at the best price.
Yeah.
And these things here, the sides there are soft and everything. You just take and it crinkles, So when you go to remove it, you just turn it upside down and push on the bottom, kind of pull on it, and it just kind of plops out in your hand, and you can plop it in the ground. But you can leave it for several weeks in one of these pots before you have to transplant it. And so this is the 3-inch ones. And let's see, let's go down here. Do they have the bigger ones? They got, So you got all sorts of different ways you just price them out. Different prices and stuff.
Oh, that's not bad. 100 for $11.
Yeah, 100 for $11 isn't bad. But then they also have, let's see, this is going to show the bigger one. They got 4-inch, that was 3-inch. They got 4-inch ones. They got 6-inch ones. I actually got a package of the 6-inch ones. Well, yeah, 15 or $16 for 80 6-inch ones is cheap too.
Right.
And some of them, I'm just trying to see if they show one of the ones that come with it. Here they do have the pressed fiber, paper fiber ones.
Yeah.
They are biodegradable here. For $13, the roots will slowly grow through it. But I found out with those, they don't like to grow through it that much. I mean, it's pressed so tight that the roots have a hard time getting through it. But let me see one of these other ones. Let's take a look at this one here. See what if it has the extra stuff that comes with it. No. Yeah, when I check out the ones I got, none of these seems to be showing it. So let me go back, see if I can find one of the other ones down here. They'll have the little tabs that come with it. I'm trying to read sketch here, but any of them say it here. Check this one, see if it comes with it at all. See, that shows how they're nice and soft.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back a couple of them here. And all right, go back in here. But they have some of them. They have, if they show it here, where they have the they come with little white plastic things that you can write on and stick into it. That you can once you transplant it, you can keep that with it. Here we go. Boom. And they also say they got the little tabs there you can stick in the ground with it, and then they have the tools. Now the tools here on the left are marked. It's kind of hard to read it when you have them, but they'll say 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, and so you stick that in the soil. If you put your soil in the cup there, and then it tells you how to drop, for dropping your seed, so you have a proper depth on it. Yeah. So yeah, nice. And it has the little tool there for transplanting, and the other one for putting putting it in for the seed. So you look around, make sure if you're going to get these, you can get the ones that has both these tools and all those labels in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll find them a lot cheaper than just the plain pots themselves. So you don't take the first one you see. Check out what it is. Right. But yeah, those things work. Actually, I've been using these for several years now, and I like them.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks.
And they're totally reusable too. Like I said, I've been using them for several years now, and totally reusable.
Because I've got some of the little 3 and 4 inch pots, and I just put them in the trays. But that would be pretty cool. That would work.
Yeah, I tried doing stuff in trays and stuff. The only thing I found that works good in a tray where you just put the soil and stuff in there is like onions and garlics and stuff, where you get them started. And you can see which one's going to go in there. You just dig out the little thing. Those transplant really easy. The onions and garlics and that type of stuff, and the leeks and things like that. But with like tomatoes and other things, they don't transplant too easily. And so you got to watch out what you're putting in. What you're going to be trying to transplant.
Right.
And I froze. I love my internet. And so, at least it doesn't kick me off. The one my daughter had across the street, when it froze over there, it was 5 minutes.
Wow.
The internet, that was Sparklight, and it just screwed up. This one is because it's a radio communications between my house and the internet tower about a mile away. It just the data stream just kind of goes, "Oop, I'm gonna freeze." Oh, okay, we're back again.
Yeah, when it's storming here, I've got maybe a mile up the road. I've got a cell tower, and I
Mhm.
I run off the AT&T cell tower. Um, and it it if the weather's bad, it'll really freeze up and kick me off. And
Yeah. But yeah, there are a lot of neat things you can do and can't do when it comes to transplanting plants.
right,
Um, Carrots obviously is ones you have to plant in the ground. Potatoes you can transplant. You can
sure,
start them in a pot, and once it starts sprouting, coming up and starts going and stuff, if you want to get it earlier before because of the soil temperatures and stuff, potatoes you can start in a decent 1 gallon pot and let it get going, and then transplant the whole thing into the ground.
hmm. I never thought of trying to transplant potatoes.
Yeah, because basically the roots will go out and it will hold the dirt together. So when you turn the pot over and pull the pot off of it, then you can set it down in a hole.
Right, right. I actually left my potatoes in the ground this year. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how they're going to do, um, but I dug up two plants, and the problem is with my clay soil, I didn't amend it the way I should. Um,
I
and
I got something for your clay soil. A friend of mine, Ron Netzel, he's known as the Green Wizard. He has a book out and everything else. Some of the stuff he talks about for clay is certain minerals and certain well there's you can get like the go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you get the fast acting gypsum, and
fast.
that helps breaks up clay. Um, Planting sunflowers in that area. Sunflowers have deep roots, and they'll go through
Yeah,
and they'll start breaking up the clay. There are certain plants you can plant that will break up the clay and help turn it from clay back into soil.
right. I've got my son-in-law is going to get me. He's got an excavating business, and he's been saving the manure from the horses and the donkeys and the cows,
Yeah,
and he's going to get me a dump truck load of manure this spring, and I figure I'll hand till it right into the ground, and try to just get something in between the clay spot. And if I raise the bed just a little bit, outside of the clay, um, with that, because it's old manure, so I can plant right in it.
yeah.
Um, and once I get the beds established, then I can, keep going like that.
This I'm going to share another one here for you. There you go. This is another one he's talked about. This stuff is a composite mineral stuff. It's called green sand. A bunch of different companies do it. Basically, it's like from the glaciers when they came down the last time and they ground out a bunch of stuff. There are deposits from where the glaciers have retreated and pulled soil, left deposits of minerals and stuff. And putting this stuff out on clay soil helps invigorate the plants and stuff, and also helps break up the soil too. It's not like mixing sand and clay together, which gives you almost like a concrete type stuff if
Yeah,
it's done wrong. But it'll get in there and it'll break it up good. The green, any of the green sands, and then there's zoramites, some other ones, and a bunch of other stuff he lists in his book, which is really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of things like that. You can, if you look into the ones that do it the more natural way and not the NKP or NPK, whatever NPK system, which is adding chemicals to the ground.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like doing things organically: cow manure, chicken manure, pig stuff like
yeah,
that. And like if I have uh I had June bugs, something,
mhm,
or were they June bugs or Japanese beetles? Anyway, they were horrible, and I ordered a bag of milky spore
mhm,
and sprinkled that on the ground. What that does is it doesn't so much kill the bugs. You still got to pick the bugs off your trees, but it kills the grubs in the ground, so
Yeah.
that they don't. You'd think with all the chickens I got running around, I wouldn't have a problem with them, but
Yeah, it's the same thing like with the box elder bugs. The chickens will eat the box elder bugs for about a week or two, and then they go, and they
yeah,
stop,
yeah,
and you got to deal with the box elder bugs. The squash bugs, the Japanese beetles, and some of the other ones, depending on your region, can be a big problem. But you almost have to, like fortunately where I'm at, we don't have the Japanese beetles and we don't have the squash bugs. So but we have aphids,
yeah,
and the probably the best thing you do for aphids is put out ladybugs.
yeah, yeah.
And everyone goes, but you get too many you put out the ladybugs and they all fly everywhere else. It's like,
Oh well.
good. Because what does that do? That means they're flying to your neighbor yards and everyone else is all around you. And we'll get several that stay there. They only stay if there's enough aphids for them to eat.
Right.
So if they're going to your neighbor's yards, what are they eating over there?
The aphids over there.
And so you really look at it. It's not just a one spot thing. Your treatment, you're helping to treat a bigger area, and that in turn comes back to help you next season because they'll be laying eggs over there, and all of a sudden then they'll be spreading out, and next year you'll get more ladybugs coming back in as they move around and stuff.
And they don't mess with your plants.
No, they go after the aphids and stuff like that. Yeah. The other thing too to consider getting for your gardens and stuff, get one of those basically it's an egg sac for the praying mantis.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, the praying mantis generally don't pick on the ladybugs. They go after stuff more like the crickets and the bigger ones and some of the other bugs and stuff.
Right.
And then of course there is our plants that chase away certain bugs and stuff. The marigolds chase away certain bugs, but attracts bees. Borage chases away the tomato hornworms, both the caterpillars and the moth.
Oh wow!
But it attracts the bees and it mellows the bees in your garden. Nice. My wife has several planted in her garden, and we can go out there and the bees are just all over the place. But you can go around by the borage because they're all coming off the borage like, ooh, cool, man. I'm good. Yeah. There's something about the borage that just mellows the bees out. You go in there, move them around, dig and do everything else, and they're not going to bug you.
When a bee is gorged on honey or nectar, they don't want, the last thing they want to do is sting you. Their idea is let's get this back to the hive, fill up and get back to the hive. A lot of people think they have bee allergy, but it's wasps and hornets and yellow jackets and the pseudo bee type things.
Yeah. Well, I know some people do have my mom had developed a bee allergy.
Yeah.
And so when she got stung by bees, and it was regular bees, she would get the Benadryl out, start taking that, start popping Benadryl pills, and do all that stuff. But if you don't antagonize the bees, they're not going to sting you.
Right.
They're not like a yellow jacket or a wasp.
They know they're going to die.
Yeah, they which can sting you multiple times and fly away. And the European honeybee is so much more mellow than a lot of the other ones. But there are other plants too that just something about the plant as they're gathering the pollen and the nectar and stuff and everything else. It's more soothing to the bee, and the bee is more calm afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we've had marigolds that we've been growing in the garden for a long time. They keep mosquitoes away and deer flies, which here in the yard, we don't have a big problem with the deer flies because deer flies bite, and it's not quite as bad as a horsefly, but it hurts. Mm-hmm. But you step in the shade in the woods, and you will be swarmed. It is horrible. So
Yeah.
we plant that stuff all over the place. Try to get it spread out. Um,
Trying to remember the plant that citronella comes from. And my wife has several of them planted there at the garden. See, my wife is still in California. She has a couple more years before she retires. I'm up in Idaho getting the property up here ready for her.
oh, nice.
So, um, and she has several of the plants that citronella comes from. And so, I mean, usually when you're out there in the evening, if you're within 10, 15 feet of this plant, the mosquitoes aren't around you. You go to the other side of the garden.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
there's certain plants that are that's that one plant specifically that the citronella comes from, and you can make your own citronella oil from it,
Right.
and then add it to your tiki torches or whatever you want to do to put off the stuff, and it just chases them away.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been wanting to get some. I don't know if echinacea chases bugs away, but it's got a bunch of medicinal properties
Oh
that
yeah, it's a big medicinal herb. Kathy at North Star Prepstetter last oh no, actually she did it a little bit last year, but she was doing it big time in 2020 on her Monday night live streams, where she'd take a different herb and talk about all the different benefits of it and how to use it and stuff like that, and what it's different medicines that people use it in. And echinacea is one of those, and valerian root, and
yeah,
some of those ones are all the ones people are talking about
yeah.
and using.
Plantain is one that just has so many uses. I mean, it cleans cuts and calms stings. It
Yeah.
is just awesome. And it's funny, my grandson, we were looking at their beehives, and he said, "I don't want to get too close, Papa. I don't want to get stung." I said, "Well, we'll go in from the side." Well, I didn't know that the way they were set up, they had a beehive set in each direction on a pallet. So, well, long story short, he got stung on the cheek, and so I picked him up and got him out of there, and I picked some uh oh
Plantain.
plantain, and I said, chew this up and spit it in my hand. He chewed it up, spit it in my hand, and I put it on there, and he's like, wow, that doesn't hurt anymore, after a few seconds. And then it wasn't I don't know, 2 weeks later, the kids were all swimming, and a girl got stung on her leg, and he went and picked a plantain leaf, and he chewed it up and spit it out on her leg. She was a little grossed out, but she's like, hey, that really doesn't sting anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they're one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, and the first mistake they make, a bee stings them, they swat.
Right.
And when the bee is still there, and he's still attached to a stinger, you swat him. What are you doing? You're squeezing
Squeezing the sack.
down to put the stuff into it. The other thing they do is, if the bee stings and flies away, they go and they try to grab it. No, you get like a credit card or something, or a knife, and you just slide along, and just catch underneath the sack and lift the stinger out.
Yeah, and then you hit it with smoke if you're working with the bees at the time, to keep that pheromone from getting on, because they can get rowdy. I was gonna buy some bees this year, but I don't know. I need to check on mine. I didn't see any flying the other day. It was 50 degrees out. But I had a wild hive, a wild swarm moved into one of my empty hive boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they did anything or what over the winter, because I haven't been able to overwinter them yet.
Yeah. Trying to think of who was it that was doing that. Living the Dream Homestead up in northern Idaho has bees, and they overwintered them. And one of the things he did that froze that Jeremy did was on his beehives. He put them close together and stuff, and then packed bales of straw around it and over it and stuff to insulate it from the cold weather, because the
Right.
bees will generate their own heat.
Right. I've
And
got I've
have
got
a
mine
good
in a
insulation, it'll keep it there.
I've got mine in a shed, a little shed, and I open the front of it up in the spring and put the front of it back on in the winter. But because my understanding is that's all they basically, if you can keep the snow from piling up and blocking their doors and keep the wind off them, then they're pretty good. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been able to in Port Lyden or here. I wasn't able to overwinter any bees, but runnings for $120 you can get a nuke. But I think I can get it from Verona. There's a guy in Verona that sells them for like 50-60 bucks for a nuke.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think my wife and I were talking about getting some bees here, because we have 6 acres. We bought another acre, so we got 6 acres here. But I was talking to one of the guys around here, and there's a local company just 6 miles up the road called Cox Honey, and they're actually sell most of their stuff to Sam's Club.
oh
Yeah, and so if you see Cox Honey in Sam's Club, it comes from here in Idaho. And what they do is they bring all their hives in the wintertime, and then into a warehouse where they can keep them warm enough where they but not so warm the bees are trying to be active. The bees will
right,
will quote hibernate.
right.
And they'll say they've said, hey, yeah, if you let us put a couple hives on your property, we'll give you a percentage of the honey that those hives produce.
Oh, nice.
And that way, it's like we're thinking that's probably the better way, because we don't have to worry about maintaining the hives. They come around, they check stuff, they
Yeah.
manage it and everything else, and we get free honey.
Yeah, they do all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's granted. It's probably like maybe like a quart of honey from the hive for the year, but we don't use more than two or
right,
three quarts. And if we got 4 or 5 ones out there, then we have a little extra honey to give away as presents.
right. Yeah. That's what we were doing when our first year we got 80 pounds of honey.
Mhm.
We had a really good harvest, and then we were always in the 75 to 80. My friend Matt, he was the first one of us to do multiple hives in a year, and he ended up with 100 and some pounds. And there's just nothing like it. The pure honey that's he was using it. He'd take a teaspoon of the honey a day because he had so many allergies that were acting up on him. And some of the allergies, I think it might have helped, but then his doctor said that, excuse me, that it can make it go the other way too if you're not careful with the
Yeah.
allergies. So,
All right, I got to step out just for a second. I'm just gonna stop my camera here. I got a loaf of bread baking, and I
I
gotta go check
wasn't.
it. But the timer just did here, so I gotta go check.
All
So I'll be
right.
right back.
All right. Oh, well, I've got to tell a story anyway. Remy from Rem's Family Farm scared me to death today. Cat, would you stop knocking stuff down? Sorry about that. He scared me to death today. He told me he got hold of me. He told me yesterday. He said, "Hey, I tagged you in a video for a challenge. I want you to do this challenge." And I said, "Sure, no problem." And so today I watched his video on the challenge, And when I had talked to him last time I saw him, he had hair, and Remy's got the 5 o'clock shadow pretty heavy, and in this video when he first came on, he was bald and clean shaven. And I'm like, oh no, tell me he didn't get me into a challenge that is going to make me shave my head, because I got a pointy head. But it turned out to be questions about me, or something like that, and that'll be coming out Monday.
On some of those question challenges, you got to be careful on them, because like, what's your favorite dog, or what about some of those, it's like, sorry, that's a security question, I'm not answering that one.
Right. Yeah. And I try not to use anything like that for passwords. I just, I'm smart. See, nobody ever thinks you use the word password for your password and you'll never forget it. Of course, that's the first one the hackers check.
Yeah,
But
and then they do the alternative on it, where one of the big common ones besides just using password is a symbolic password, which is basically capital P @ $, lowercase w RD, and you look at it, it looks like password.
yeah.
But yeah, there's when I was working for Homeland Security with the IT guy, we were both getting kind of grumpy at some of the stuff coming out. It's like it says 8 to 12 characters only, and we were complaining to these guys, hey, you need to bump that up to 8 to 20 characters.
Yeah.
Because we like using a 16 to 20 character password. And people, how do you remember that? Well, it's very simple. It's something that applies to me that I don't tell anybody else. And I gave an example. All right, it's like Tolkien is one of my favorite authors, so I would use Frodo Bilbo 2001, and or you do the stuff like that, and they would and that way you have something that you're not going to forget it, because it's something common or a character that you enjoy that most people wouldn't even think about, and then you put in a year or something or whatever on it, and
Yeah. It's amazing. I've never been hacked. I get the notices once in a while that from like Chrome and whatever it is I'm using now, Edge, that'll say some of your passwords are on a list that have recently been used on sites which have recently been hacked, and can you change them? And I hate that. I had a bank that I used for a long time, and every two or 3 months they made you change your password. And I understand where they're coming from, and it is smart. But the only person I think it kept out of my account was me.
yeah.
Because I just couldn't. After a while, you're like, well, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? And then already.
Yeah, we had a bank. We used to go to a bank, and when they started doing that, we told them, you have two choices. You can stop this crap or pull in all our money. Oh, we're not going to do it. And we said, fine, we're closing the account.
Yeah.
And their eyes got about that big to tell, what do you mean closing the account? I said, you guys are playing stupid games with passwords.
Yeah.
And so, our passwords are secured. And so you want to play that game? Well, we're just going to go to a different bank.
Yeah.
And so, other people in there heard me say, they go, why is that? I go, because you keep changing the password like that. And sometime or another, you're going to use one you're going to have to come up with one that's out there, that's one of the ones that hackers use by accident. And so you don't want to do that. And so, I know several people that left that bank, and they started spreading the word around. And after about 6-9 months, all of a sudden the bank stopped requiring you to change your password.
Yeah,
because everybody started leaving and saying, hey, this is why you want to change passwords all the time. We're going to change banks. It's much simpler.
Yeah, I like the I got this new phone and it's I like it because I was doing just a straight talk and you get the $59, $60 phones or whatever and but they didn't have any and I had to get a new phone and this one's got the fingerprint sensor on it and I like that. If I can sign in with a fingerprint, that's even better because there isn't anybody gonna, you know, well, there are ways around it, but very few people are going to actually try it. Hey,
Yeah,
Bucket List, how's it going?
yeah, it's all when I'm on the a bunch of the lives, I come up with people and stuff, and they're talking and they start talking about their phones and stuff and the things. Well, I go live off my phone or I piggyback off my computer and use the phone as thing. They see me there just kind of snickering. They go, well, "What do you do on yours?" And then I show them I got this old piece of crud here that's still 4G phone and everything else. The GPS has been disabled on it. Internet access has been disabled on it. I you know I can text, I can call, I can take a photo, and I can send. I can text the photo, but there's no internet access. There's no, and it has I forget what the IT guy called. We put on there's a little program you put on it that basically screws up the cell tower from tracking it.
Oh,
And so it's basically, they say, oh, all I can say is, all right, he's at this general area
it's
where there's
20-mile area.
where
Yeah.
there's 5 or 6 cell towers, but it's not telling, it won't lock onto it. And so, because that's what, a lot of the guys at DHS were doing were just totally, getting their phones with it because we were getting a bunch of these stupid, and everybody gets it, those, telemarketers on the phone. And then, so when they did that to it, it dropped off to practically none. But the problem is you got to have a real smart IT guy that can get in there and do it. And of course, with the newer phones, especially the iPhones, it's practically impossible to get in there to do that. And
Yeah, I
so,
don't like the Apple products.
yeah,
I mean, they're probably well and good, but I've been working with Windows since Windows came out, and uh, which that was originally for Apple, but it got stolen.
actually, no, it wasn't.
No,
No, the truth of the matter on Windows, it was developed by Xerox.
really.
Yes, and back in '78, I believe it was, maybe '77, Bill Gates and one of his other guys, were down there, and they went over to Xerox, and they were talking stuff, and they go, "Oh yeah, check out this new thing we just developed." Xerox didn't want it. Their people developed it, but the head hunters will, why do we need to worry about having these window things, pop up? You'd be able to open different things and stuff, and basically they gave it away.
Oh, because see, what I had heard was that Microsoft and Bill Gates were called in to debug the program and kind of run the check on it and and he kept telling, well, what's his name from Apple there that passed
Yeah.
Steve Jobs kept telling him, listen, you need to copyright this or trademark it or something. And
Yeah.
no, nobody's going to steal it from me.
No,
And
no, no. That's not, that wasn't true because
okay,
Bill Gates and Jobs never worked together at all in anything.
no, oh, okay,
Oh, fierce competitors
oh,
from the word go. Yeah, it was Xerox that actually developed Windows
oh,
originally. Of course, it wasn't called Windows at the time, but
right.
they were saying they hadn't come up with a name for it. Like, yeah, we can open a window. We can open this little window here, and so it's like Windows. Okay, we're going to call it. And they basically gave it away to them, and they called it Windows.
Huh.
Yeah.
Uh, that is craziness.
Oh yeah,
And
that was stupidity on Xerox part, because if Xerox had kept it and done right, it wouldn't be Bill Gates. That would be, it would be Xerox would be the leading runner in computers and stuff.
well, yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, at the time, what we had? We had DOS systems
Hmm.
that you had to remember codes and basically entry level programming and stuff to make it work. Um, Typing command codes and stuff, kind of like what it looks like in your back of your screen there.
Yeah.
And when they opened it up to, click on this and it opens, that just revolutionized everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's, I remember our first computers and stuff. I mean, it was before Windows was really out there, and Windows was out there, but it wasn't the one to go to,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was still using DOS and stuff. And we had the 5 and something floppies and the bigger
Yeah.
floppies and everything else like that. And you know, there was a program called Word Perfect
Yeah.
before Microsoft Word, and that's what we used on it. And it was, it typed, and you couldn't change. You had one font, you couldn't change the font, and all that other fun stuff. And it worked only with a dot matrix printer.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was, that was back in the day, and that was, yeah, you had the DOS manual that came with the computer, and you had backup disks in case something got corrupted, and so you reformat your hard drive and reload stuff on there. And if you didn't have stuff saved up to floppies, you lost everything.
Yeah. See, my first computer when I was a kid was a Commodore VIC-20. There was no hard drive. It was you if you were lucky, you had I think the VIC-20 had the disk slot in it even.
Mm-hmm.
And you put the disk in, it loaded a version of DOS. You told it what you wanted to do, and it would load the program, and it was all right. I got a Commodore 64. And then I got a ColecoVision Atom, and this actually hooked to a ColecoVision game console, and it had regular cassette drive for memory, and that you could use for memory and storage and stuff like that. And it had it wasn't a dot matrix printer. It had the ball that went with it, I believe.
Yeah,
But
the typing ball. Yeah.
yeah. But I remember getting programming books from school, and they were storylines. But in order to really get all of the stories to get through them, you had to actually type programs into your computer. Well, I was doing that, but they never seemed to work. Well, Trevor told me that when I would get up to go to the bathroom, he would come in and he would like delete letters and stuff from the program I'd spent half an hour putting in. So that's why they never worked.
Yeah. My sister had got one from Costco years back when Costco was still new, and it was called Gold Star is the name of the computer, and it didn't have a hard drive. It had a 8-inch floppy and a 5.5-inch floppy and a 3.5-inch, or no, 5 1/4 and 3.5-inch floppy. And so the 8-inch one was one you put in, and that was your hard drive. And you put the other
Wow.
ones in for whatever programs you wanted to do and stuff. And it was like, and she was all proud of that and looking at it. And my wife was just busting up laughing because my wife had just had the equivalent of uh, I'm trying to remember the designation now. It was before Pentium was the 8086, and then the one before, so 2 levels before that, and had one built for her. She's an accountant and everything else, and it had a huge hard drive on it,
Yeah.
128 megabytes. Yeah, and so basically it had more than what was, like my sister would have to have 3 of those 8-inch floppies, and so and that was that, and then it had the a slot for the regular didn't have the 5-inch. It had the 3.5-inch
Yeah.
floppy, and then the 3.5-inch hard floppy.
Right.
And yeah, it was unique and stuff. But and it was about a couple weeks later that my sister was talking to my mom, and because my mom was over at our house, and my wife was showing her what we had and stuff, and she comes over. What you guys were snickering at me? And then you're thinking back then, I mean, every 6 months computers were changing. I mean, it was like,
yeah,
new types of RAM, new types of everything else was coming out. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, you had to make sure that when you were getting a custom made computer, which was all over the place, you got one that had a motherboard that had all the expansion slots for anything new coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking cell phones a few minutes ago. My brother still has, he will not get a smartphone. He still has a flip phone, but he swears that it can't be tracked on GPS. It doesn't have GPS and stuff in it. And I said, yeah, it does.
Actually, if there are some people that still have the old Nokia 3300 series.
Yeah.
Those don't have GPS in them.
Right. Right. Well, this is a newer flip phone.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so on some of the new ones, the flip phones, that's when the advertising point is no GPS, none of this, no internet tracking, none of this, blah blah blah. So no one can hack your call list. No one, know. And so for some people, that's a selling point. Is they want that, and there are some out there. In fact, Nokia several years ago reintroduced a flip phone.
Oh,
that was that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because people are like, oh, they're talking about putting chips in us and this other stuff, and they might be, but we carry Big Brother around with us. I mean, how many times have you been talking to somebody and I need to get a new blanket for the comforter for the bed, and then you're on Facebook and you get that
ad for it,
at low price, but the very first thing that's going to happen with all, I don't know if I'd do it with all my technology, but my cell phone, if in an SHTF situation, the battery's coming out, my laptops are going to be disabled. Wow, that hurts to say. I am addicted to these stupid things.
Well, the thing is, on like on your laptops and stuff, you can actually, if you unplug it from the Cat 5 cable, you can manually turn off the Wi-Fi. So your laptop is totally disconnected at that point. And if you're just using it for Word documents and Excel spreadsheets and whatever tracking stuff, no one can get into it. Once you hit that little switch on the side and manually turn off the Wi-Fi and it's unplugged, they can't get into it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, that's what I like about my Dells and stuff. When I was working at DHS, we all had Dell laptops, and on the side is the switch. You hit that switch and it's off the grid.
Nice. Not. It's like I told my mom. My mom has got this thing with Mark Zuckerberg. She thinks he's after her. He's deleting my posts. I can't find all this other stuff. And I'm like, Mom, Mark Zuckerberg don't care about you. You're 85 years old.
Yeah. It's the Chinese that have bought the majority of the shares of Facebook.
Yeah.
And there are. I've watched posts, and if I go to post a controversial meme photo, or share it. The first thing I do before I share it, I just open it up and I save it elsewhere. And I've shared it, and it's gone away, and I just pull it up, put it out again. After about the fourth time, they stop deleting it because they know I'm just going to keep posting it.
But you got to be careful with that. I just received a message 2 weeks ago that my posts would be knocked down on the views
Hmm.
for 90 days because I repeatedly posted false information that had been proven to be false. However, I looked at what they were saying was false, and one of them was a Bible verse.
Hmm.
One of them was
The thing is, though, they're fact checkers. Zuckerberg admitted they're not fact checkers. They're just people checking their opinion that
yeah,
happen to agree with the far left wing nuts.
yeah,
But the thing is, of course, mine is when they goes to check my thing, it says employment, and I froze again. My thing says on my Facebook, it says, you know, you know, special agent in charge, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And they go, oh, okay, we're not going to take any action against him because they know that my former team will go down and kick doors in
yeah,
down there.
yeah,
But yeah, they'll delete. Oh, we don't know how that happened. The AI's acting up.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
and the thing is you can see through it. Unfortunately, we've gotten into this cancel culture
yeah,
where we've stopped we've stopped our skin has gotten so thin that we can't take someone having a different opinion than me.
yeah.
Um, a friend. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, you can't contradict our opinion, but hey, we're gonna drop, we're gonna
Right,
come down on you because you disagree with us.
right. I had a guy tell me, "Boy, you're really judgmental." And I said, "That's funny." I said, "Because so are you." He says, "How do you figure?" I said, "You just judged me judgmental."
Yeah.
Hate and bully.
Oh,
All
all right.
women.
If it's out for all women, that could be a gender hate thing. But if you pick on a specific woman,
Yeah.
and say, but you got to say, she has no skills or whatever in this, then you're okay. So
The,
you got to make sure you put stuff on there, even if it's put out there as a joke. Humor doesn't translate too well sometimes through the printed word.
right. Sarcasm and stuff gets lost.
Yeah,
It, the problem is we've forgotten that. Okay, I will put this disclaimer out there. Okay, I
yeah,
am colorblind. I try to follow the Bible, which means we all came from two people and we're all related. I am not racist. I do not approve of racism or white supremacy, but those people have a right, a constitutional right, to hate. They
yeah,
have a right to not like something. They have a right to be misinformed if that's what they are. And um, it,
yeah.
it's just coming down. People are saying, "Oh, well, that offends me." Well, too bad, Buttercup.
Exactly. Well,
It's
here's the things. Everyone's worried about. Oh, big government's gonna spying on. No, it ain't big government you got to worry about.
neighbor.
No,
No.
it's the big tech companies that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because like you said, when you're talking on your phone, all of a sudden you start getting pop up ads or something you were talking about. Hey, that's not the government. That's big
Eh,
sales brother.
Yeah. And it's because it's funny because my mom she won't get a smart TV because she read an article or something that said that the cameras are always on. I'm like, well, Mom, how often do you prance around naked? She says, I don't. I said, well, then what are you worried about? And she says,
Yeah,
well, I don't want them listening to me. I said, Mama, you've got two tablets. When the battery on one gets low, she switches to the other. She's a Facebookaholic. I love her to death.
yeah,
But I'm like, listen, it's just reality now, that and one day we might have to try to sever our connections with that whole system.
yeah.
Uh, right now, thank God we don't.
Right. Well, what I would recommend to, I recommend to people and someone to talk about it, is like, while the internet's up and running and while you're hooked up, download all the PDF manuals you can,
Yeah.
and onto solid state drives. Not don't. I'm not talking just a little thumb drive. I'm talking something like you know a 2 terabyte drive,
Yeah,
or a
that's
five
what I
terabyte drive, or an 8 terabyte drive, and
yeah,
you get all that stuff downloaded, and make sure you have good working printer and lots of reams of paper in your supplies, because if
yeah.
everything goes, and he's like, okay, all right, let me pull up here. Where's that manual on how to build a wind generator?
Yep. Yeah. I am a big advocate of hard copy books. Um, because if something happens, well, let's just say in power goes out, which I wouldn't know about it except for my internet would go down. Um, because I'm totally off the grid, uh, but the power goes out, and now anything you do not have on your property, whether it's in a hard drive like you suggested or on a bookshelf, is lost to you. That's information you no longer have, and my memory just doesn't
Yeah,
hold like it used to.
yeah. It's like, some people are saying you have to have hard copies of everything now, and no, I've been teaching emergency preparedness since 1971, and I love, if you have to quote bug out, you're going to need a couple trailers to haul all your books and stuff. You have everything on hard copy now.
Yeah.
What I recommend is, I have, well, we got the first Kindle when it came out, and then we got another upgraded, and my wife got one, and then we got ones for our boys and stuff. We got several extra Kindles around. Still good. We keep them charged up and everything, and we use them now and then. But I rotate some of them out of what's called an EMP bag.
Hmm.
So it's, when it's in the bag, it's totally secure. I'll pull it out. I'll upgrade all my books, all my e-books and stuff off of Amazon and stuff on it, and then make sure it's fully charged, and back in the bag it goes. And I got a couple of them that are in bags, and
Nice.
so that way, like when I buy a book, like one of the last ones I got was from Doc Bones and Nurse Amy, Joe Alton and Amy Alton, on the antibiotics, and the one about talks about antibiotics, fish mocks, and all the other ones and
Hmm.
stuff. I got, and it's on all of our Kindles, all of them, because all our family Kindles are linked off my account, and
Nice.
so I just go share to all, and I share, and I click all of them, click, boom, and it all goes to all of them. And that way, even if the one totally crashes and dies, we still got 5 or 6 others that have
Yeah.
copies of it.
And that's important because I mean there's information in especially when you start talking um the medicinal plants and stuff, you got to be careful because if you give a diabetic the the wrong plant,
Hmm.
you know because the yes, like echinacea, it has some great properties. However, every property may have the way it works in your system might change something else in your system. So you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
And and there are
It,
just too
yeah.
many plants
Yeah.
out there
There
to
are certain books that I get hard copies of, specifically because they're essential. And actually, let me grab this one over here. Hang on. I mean, I'm not plugging them to plug them, but it's a great book. It's the that one. It's the newest version. It's
that's the
about that
color
much.
one too, huh?
Yeah, it's about that much thicker than the other one. It's about that much taller than the previous one. And yeah, this is the full color version of it. But yeah, and color is so much better than black and white. But
Yeah.
got the hard copy because this is what there's a time where you need it. And right now, I've been talking with Doc Bones and Nurse Amy, and they're supposed to be coming out with. Let me, if I can get it here, the index here, which is a lot of pages. To put the index out, just the index alone out for free.
Oh, wow.
On a Word doc or a PDF. And what's great about that is if I have that on the computer and it's something I need to look up, okay, uteral infections, and I type that in and it'll go and it'll tell me which page it's on. Then I can quickly, instead of trying to scan through 15 pages of index, trying to find, okay, where did they put the upper story? No, dental, no, headache, radiation sickness, trying to figure out where that one particular is. I can find it quickly, get in there, and save time. And so they're supposed to be putting that out here shortly.
Nice.
But otherwise, on something like that, I'm going to have to sit there and type it all. Froze again. I'm going to have to type it all onto a Word doc myself. But they're going, she has that on. She's supposed to be putting it out there on their site as a freebie. So I told her it's also a sales ad. If someone goes and looks at that with the index and they get it for free, and they go like, "Whoa,
yeah,
I need to get the book."
Yeah, I looked at it and I definitely want to get the book. I'm just at the point right now where I'm trying to figure out my finances.
All right. Okay, it's after 5 o'clock my time here in Idaho. I got some stuff I got to do. I go back and and the bread's, take the bread out of the pan now. So, but I got other stuff to do, and so yeah, I got to get going here.
All right, I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, and also just to let you know, on my Gray Man prepping channel here, Gray Man with with the A, not an E, not the European way of spelling it, the American way. I go live at 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Eastern for my scenario-based events tonight. And hopefully I will get Corsair trainers and backwoods law in there on my panel as well. It's going to be a fun one.
I'll try to make it. I can't guarantee I'll be there, just for a simple fact. I was an idiot last night and stayed up till 3 a.m.
I was up until 5:30 this morning.
Oh,
I just couldn't get to sleep. I don't know what was going on. I just couldn't sleep. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. Oh, Rem's here.
Remy, did you hear what he did to me? Did I tell you what he did to me?
I'm not sure.
Here's the link, Remy. It should be coming up. He called me and he told me that, hey, I got this challenge I want you to be a part of.
Oh, the challenge, yeah. And he's all clear.
Yeah.
All right. I got to get going. Ram, come on up here and share the spot with him. And there he is. Hey, I got to get going. Everyone, stay safe, stay happy, stay prepared, and I'll see you guys all around later.
All right. Have a good one, Gil.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So you didn't like the haircut?
No, I like it. It looks good on you. It does look good on you. It's just that you told me you had this challenge that you wanted me to be part of. And then all of a sudden, for all I knew, it could have been, get rid of all your body hair or something. I don't know. But I'm looking, I'm like, tell me he's not going to ask me to shave my head. I've actually done that before for youth group. And it was, oh man, it was wild. Wendy was very upset with me.
Yeah, it's Lynn's fault. She's the one that tagged me.
I did Alderman Farms, Altruistic Homestead, and MB Heritage. I tagged them, so and then I emailed them to let them know I tagged them. So
yeah, you're better always be in contact with them before you do.
Right. And it won't come out until the 28th anyway, because I got a video coming out tomorrow. So
okay.
But yeah, that was exciting. I actually had fun with it. Yeah, it does. It looks good. Mr. Clean.
Yeah. I used to shave my head when I was younger. Something like you. I was coaching kids in soccer, and whenever they would win a championship, I would shave my head,
Yeah.
and it would motivate the kids. But to me, it was just a free haircut. Yeah, when 2022 started, one of my goal for the year was to participate in at least 3 different challenge on YouTube, and I think I'm already past that, so it's all good.
Oh yeah.
It
So have
generates.
you? What's that?
I said it generates traffic to your channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, have you heard anything on Shed Wars yet?
Uh, Robert told me to keep an eye out because I think they're supposed to have the draft on March 5th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just around the corner.
Yeah, and I'll be home all week next week, so time will pass by very fast. I have surgery on Friday, and the hospital requires me to be in quarantine for 4 days before surgery. I have to
No.
get tested, and
What surgery, if you don't mind me
oh,
asking?
it's nothing major.
Oh,
I
okay.
have to get a tooth removed,
Oh, okay.
and since because of my anxiety, I can't lay down on a bench with them working in my mouth. I just panic, and last time I almost stabbed the dentist. So
Yeah.
he's gonna patch a couple of my teeth at the same time.
I had a major think I should just deal with it when I was in the Army because I was infantry. And I told him, he said, "Sir, you put your hands in my mouth again, and I'm going to the brig. You know, please, sir." And he gave me a slip to go back, and I just never went back.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No. I don't know who. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with being a dentist. We need dentists. We
Oh
need
yeah,
to all actually learn dentistry. Me and Gil were just talking about the medical books. I forget what page it's on, or what website is it is. But they actually have dental kits that you can buy, first aid dental kits,
okay.
where you can pull a tooth if you need to. It's got the tools and stuff in it. And that's all stuff we were just talking. Having stuff, and he said I've got. He said he likes to do the 2 terabyte hard drive things, and I've got 2 of those here that I put my videos on, and instead of doing hard copy books, because then he can just grab that in a laptop and go. And that makes sense. I might actually start doing that. Ugh.
You're
Stayed up
tired.
till I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning watching a show. And it's a Netflix Jupiter. What is it? Jupiter Legacy or something?
Okay, never heard of it.
It's about superheroes and how they got how these superheroes got their power and all this other stuff. And
Oh, Hero. Did you did you see Heroes?
did I see the show Heroes?
No, you're not talking about Heroes.
No,
Uh,
no,
I'm
no.
tired.
This is like Jupiter Legacy or something like
Okay.
that. Um,
Yeah,
it's
Heroes.
a pretty good show.
Yeah,
I binge watched it all at once. And
that's what happens.
Wendy wasn't here to wake up. She used to get up and go to the bathroom, and she'd say, "Are you coming to bed tonight?" And then I'd realize, okay, I do need to go to bed.
Yeah,
And,
the little voice of reason.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was too cold to do anything outside today. Well, it was in the 20s. It wasn't horrible, but the sap wasn't running. I have some ice in the buckets, but
Okay.
so
So you started getting sab already.
oh yeah, I've got 10 gallons right now.
Okay, nice.
And it's I've done 2 bucket dumps and I've got 5 gallon pails, and it averages about 5 gallons a dump,
Okay.
according to the 55-gallon drum when it's standing up. I won't be able to measure it as much. But tomorrow I've got to go to Ilion and get the 55-gallon metal drum. I'm going to make a burner out of it so that I can evaporate it all, get the nice tray, and try to get into it. I was looking at them on Amazon for $159. I can get a basic pan to boil the sap in, but I don't know if I'm ready to. I want to see how it works out this year before I get
You
into.
all out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now I've got like $100 in it, maybe on the outside 120, but there's it'll definitely, if I get 2 gallons of sap, that's right now sap is $50 a gallon. So well, it was in runnings the other day. So that'll all equal out, that's, or not sap. If I get 2 gallons of syrup, so it'll all even out and make it worth it.
Mhm. I should probably start around the middle of March if things go well, but start setting up the stuff, and
Yeah.
we'll probably start getting nice weather by the end of March only. We're still a little bit further behind you.
Right. I know Bill the other day, he said they boiled they got 70 gallons of syrup, which he does it professionally. He's got the big evaporator in a building all just for that, and
Okay.
he's got trees all. I want to say he said 1,500 trees, or
Wow.
1,500 trees or 1,500 taps. I'm not sure which, but
Makes sense. It's possible.
yeah, because he bought. I remember a long time ago he bought a tanker truck from the fire department and was using that to haul it. So,
Mhm.
and I mean that's figure 70 gallons. That's $3,500, man. It retail, but
Mhm.
um, that's not bad for just letting a tree cry into a bucket for you, and then boiling it. I guess it took 5 hours. I guess he said in the setup he's got to do the 1,500 or to do the 70 gallons of syrup. So I'm just hoping it's not going to take me forever to get it.
Well, you can do, like, I mean, you do what you can. I
Mm.
did it last year. It was just my first year ever doing it. And I mean, I ended up with about 6 or 7 mason jars full of syrup, which is amazing. I mean, I was
Yeah.
just doing it alone for fun. This year, I'm supposed to go with. It's my brother-in-law's maple shack, but he's out of town. He's working in Alberta, so I'm gonna take care of it with one of his friends. Well, he's actually gonna teach me while I help him. And we're gonna split after. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of learning.
Yeah. It's. I know I need to learn the nuances. Like I've got a couple taps on the north side of the tree where I think you're supposed to try to get all your taps in on the south side of the tree, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm
because it's
just,
warmer.
yeah, I'm just gonna let it. It right now I'm all gravity fed. I don't have a vacuum system or anything, but I figure if I am going to get into it, I'll get more taps, more hose, and an actual wood evaporator.
Hmm. Well, you'll see if you like it this year. If you do,
Yeah,
then you can expand. And
yeah,
And Lynn, if you don't have any maples on your property, maybe you have a friend somewhere that has some. I went on my
Yeah.
dad's property last year. I don't have any maples around here at all. But there's always someone somewhere, you ask them, can I tap a couple of maples in the middle of the woods somewhere? You go in snowshoes and you go for a walk every day. And
My brother was telling me while I was in the army, my dad got permission from he just went down the street, and if there's a big maple in somebody's yard, he'd ask him if he could tap it, and he'd give them each a, like, I don't know if it was a pint or a quart of syrup when he was done.
yeah,
And
worst it can say is no.
right, right, because there are some big maples growing along the road and on Pearl Street. Um, but I wish I had a little more of an incline down where I've got the sugar bush, um, because it would just run a lot quicker. But I know I will have hate here, but I only can have maple syrup on pancake and waffle. I don't like it anywhere else. That's fine. That's fine. There's no hate to be had there.
No,
Uh,
I could drink it just like that though. But
yeah. Um, they say that the sap, they actually bottle and sell just the sap from from birch and maple trees, because it's purified water with all the antioxidants and sugars and stuff in it
yeah,
from the trees. Um, I made a trade with the people we get our beef from, maple syrup for seeds. There you go.
nice.
There you go. Get those barter lines set up already. Yeah, maple water. Yeah,
Yes, I see. Yeah, and it's
and
crazy. Maple water. Can you imagine? They sell maple water almost as expensive as maple syrup.
right. And the thing is you're getting there's no processing. Filter it.
Mm.
You put it through a filter and put it in a bottle.
Yep.
And rather than having to boil it and put it in a filter and all that other stuff. I got to find my other light. Oh, but yeah, and it's just another step in the on the way to getting more self sufficient. Um,
You need to get a light like mine.
what, the plugs into the wall?
No, that USB one.
Oh, yeah, I could probably hook this into the USB, but um,
I don't know if I can. It's a ring like that.
oh,
But
okay,
it's
yeah,
so bright. I mean, and
yeah,
it's warm as well. It heats up the room here.
I'm out of USB ports. Between the camera, the hard drives. Well, I don't need both of the hard drives hooked up right now, but
Yeah, and then you have the keyboard and the mouse. Well, I have one.
and the mic and
I need one for a mouse and the keyboard because it's wireless.
um, yeah.
Should be fine now.
Yeah, but just think of all that. It's crazy expensive, but just think of all that sugary goodness. Actually, it's not that sweet. It does have a little bit of maple flavor to it, but it's the maple the stuff I'm getting, because I tasted some from the thing. It's got a little bit of maple flavor, but it's not strong and it's not all that sweet.
It's 40 for one, so I mean,
Yeah. So instead of getting 1 gallon for $50, you can get, you know, you could sell it for $10 a gallon and end up with what, $400.
it's crazy.
Yeah. What cat? Oh, they're wanting my attention. I've been on here an hour and a half already. I think I'm about ready to head on out.
All right.
But yeah, that gave me a jolt today. I'm like, oh God, he's gonna ask me to shave my head. But
No, I couldn't do that. I tagged Marilyn too.
oh, you'd do it to me, but you wouldn't do Marilyn. Okay, I see. I I see.
22 hours. Wow.
Wow. Is that editing and everything or just uploading?
Yeah, I hope it's everything because that's a long time.
Yeah, now is the time to practice. Absolutely. I am definitely okay with it. But I'm about to head on out because I got a cat that's pestering me, and I'm just tired enough that it's aggravating.
Yeah, well, I find it's a good way to start when you start with someone else. That's the way
Yeah.
Handy started. I mean, we both started pretty much the same way. I had a couple of lives at first, but was still not sure about what to talk about. I wasn't really ready. I wasn't really, um, you know. Now I feel more comfortable talking. I guess. I mean, I'm not the best. Like I don't speak fluidly every time I go live, but at least I'm more comfortable being up here.
Right. Yeah. And when you're talking with somebody else, it makes it so much easier to have a back and forth flow. You're not trying to read the comments and just
It's just
uploading.
nice. Wow. That's a long time.
Wow. Oh, he just got she just got back from the gym, not camera ready. Neither was I. Put a hat on. You'll be okay. That's why Wendy always asks me, she says, why do you wear hats all the time? I said, because I hate brushing my hair all the time.
I used to wear one to hide the gray hair, and I have a bald spot up here, so I was gonna hide it. But now that way I don't have any gray hair, and
And no
you
bald
can't, you
spot.
can't see that I'm bald.
Yeah. I started wearing hats to cover my gray hair, but you see how that worked for me. God has a sense
Yeah.
of humor and says, put a hat on your face there, bud. Oh wow.
Video. Wow.
Wow. I
Feels like
don't
a little dial-up.
yeah. I don't know if you have what you have for internet. Um but I use if you have cell service, try to get hold of your cell phone company. And what I have, I almost reached over and unplugged it to show you. What I have is it's like a little thumb drive that plugs into the USB and it connects to the cell tower that's actually just up the road. But so it cost me $69 a month. But I get it. They've never slowed it down. I think I get 25 gigabytes a month, and then it goes down to like 1.5 megabytes a second or something like that. But I've never had a video that went too choppy, unless it's storming out. But but yeah, you might want to check into something like that. Because yeah, I've heard horror stories. I thought that we were going to have a serious problem with internet up here, but we ended up getting hold of the AT&T, and with the tower right down the road, um, it works pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say good night. I
Hey,
thank
go
you
get
for
some
coming in.
rest.
Yeah, I thank you for coming in, Remy.
Oh, no
Uh,
problem. I would have been here earlier, but my electrician was here doing, fixing the problem I had back there with a
oh,
bunch
nice.
of, you know, power bars on top of one another. At
Yeah.
least now it's safer. I still have power bars, but
Oh my word. cell internet is $600 a month. Wow.
Do you upload on a computer? If you have a good download speed and a good streaming, the upload should be pretty much the same. Unless they put a limit on your upload.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that's craziness. $600 a month for internet over a cell phone. I what does it cost to have internet on your cell phone? You know, data on your cell phone. Holy moly. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I thank you for coming in, Remy, and thank you, Mahilin, for moderating tonight. And Bucket List Homestead for being here, and I had actually a good time. Especially once I found out I just had to answer some questions about myself instead of shaving my head. But that's all right. I'll get you back. I'll get you back.
Well, that wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't. It was just shocking because I literally just saw you like a day or two ago online.
Yeah,
and you had hair and a beard, and then you said, "Well, I'm gonna hit you up on this challenge," and then all of a sudden, no hair, no beard. I'm like, "Oh man!" All right, everybody, have a great night and take care. God bless. How do I end this thing here? Here we go.